Arlene Ellison learned her ex-husband, a dentist, was a member of a pedophilia organization. I shake my head as I say that. Lynn Gilmore is currently married to a convicted sex offender. His victim was 15 years old. She is also author of Consensual Consequences, a true story of life with a registered sex offender. Lynn, you have two young daughters. I guess you had two young daughters when you married your husband. Is that right? And my question would then be, why did you feel comfortable doing so?
Well, I had my own experience as a child to fall back on. As a child, I was molested by a family member. And when I got
I'm going to interrupt you, Lynn. Lynn, let me just interrupt you right there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no apology. And I apologize for interrupting. But Darlene, let me bring you to the conversation with Lynn. She said something that I wanted to get into as we went along here, but it's right here up front in our face, which is that women that marry sex offenders have a very high probability of having been sexually abused themselves. They tend to bring pedophiles into the child's life, and then when the pedophilia occurs, they're so shattered by it because it's something that happened to them that they won't face it and won't deal with it and deny it. Darlene, has that been your experience with the women you're dealing with?
Not necessarily. As far as them actually being victimized by child abuse or child molestation as children, not necessarily. Of course, my pool of women are those that have contacted me, since the book came out. But in some cases, yes. In some cases, no. In my particular case, absolutely not.
So let me go back to Lynn. Let's hear your story. So you had childhood sexual abuse, which made, and what it does is, and again, I want to reemphasize for our viewers, is that when kids have experiences of terror in childhood, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, or abandonment, they magically are attracted. It forms an attraction to people and places that end up recreating the traumas of the past. It's extraordinary, but humans do this. So Lynn, your story is you were sexually abused, then please go on. I'm sorry to interrupt your story.
Okay. Yeah, I was, and as so I had that to reflect back on because this was, like I said, a family member, and as I was getting divorced, I was in the middle of a divorce. I had two young girls. They were 10 and 12 years old at the time, and, I became acutely aware of, well, gee, who can I possibly, invite into my life that I thought anyone at all, any man might be a potential risk to my kids. And no, I didn't go looking on any kind of a list or anything like that. I just was very in tune with my feelings on that. When I met my husband...
Wait, Lynn, I have to interrupt you. Everyone at home is shaking their head going, wait, let me understand this. So your thinking was, I have two young kids, I got to make sure I don't bring, because I tend to bring men around the pedophile that might be a pedophile. So let me bring a guy in that is a pedophile.
I had never in my life brought anyone into my life that was, into that sort of thing. Had been convicted of any kind
Lynn, I'm confused. I'm sorry, Lynn. I'm sorry I keep interrupting. I'm just so confused. I thought your husband had sex with a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old.
Okay, you're not letting me say what I need to say.
Please do. Please clarify.
Okay. Prior to meeting my husband, I had never in my life met anyone who had not only served any time in prison or been convicted of any crime. I was 38, 39 years old when I met my current husband. So this was all new to me. And when he told me what happened, we sat down and we talked about it, and I could see that he was truly remorseful. This was just a one-time thing. It was just an accident that happened. The conditions were, in such a way that if any one element of that, it would not have happened. And, so I could see that he was remorseful, and I got a real sense from that remorsefulness that he had learned his lesson, he had paid his debt to society, and he would never again reoffend on anyone. And as I watched him interact with my children... I have to interrupt,
and I understand that was good. So, Darlene, are you shaking your head a little bit like I am? I didn't hear anything. We don't have somebody who has changed what he's attracted to. We have someone who says he understands he's going to be in big trouble if he does it again. What do we tell
Right.
someone like Lynn?
Well, I think too. Again, I'm gonna restate something I said earlier. We can't take everyone along the continuum of pedophilia and put them all in one basket. I think you have different types of perpetrators, and I think that. You know, it's my opinion, and you can also look at the research of rates of recidivism, which is the rate within which somebody might perpetrate again. And you have to look at time served and therapeutic processes and things. I think along that continuum,
now,
you
Darlene,
do
I'm going to
have
interrupt
pedophiles.
you. That is very much the point, which is that if Lynn had said he was in treatment, that would make sense to me, because unfortunately, having remorse doesn't predict anything about recidivism. Really, it really doesn't.
You're absolutely
okay, and
right.
so this is why, Lynn, we're concerned, is that you're saying because he was remorseful, I believed him. I do believe he's remorseful, but that doesn't change the behavior as much as treatment. And so somebody that's not been treated, please, if you're out there and you have impulses or you know someone who does,
Right.
get treatment. That changes the outcomes. Ladies, thank you,
Okay.
Darlene.
Yes.
Thank you, Lynn. Alec.